These are the winter village sets, and unlike a lot of my other sets that stay at the studio, I keep these at home. Why, you ask? Just like a lot of other people, I have this Christmas tradition where I rebuild these every year to put them up as decoration. And then after Christmas, we tear everything down again. But they always end up in these IKEA Ziploc bags, and it makes building them, well, not so fun. We spend more time looking for parts than we're actually building. Now I know it's not Christmas yet, but I like to be prepared. So today I'm building a portable storage system that doubles as a building station for those cozy winter evenings of building Christmas sets on the couch. And thanks again to Xtool for sponsoring this video. Every year, LEGO comes out with a new winter village set. And every year I go down to the LEGO store to expand my winter collection a little further. Last year was the Alpine Lodge, the year before we had Main Street, and the list goes on, all the way back to 2009. They're great for decoration, but building them is not as fun as I'd like it to be. Let's take one of these sets out of the bag and see what we're dealing with. This is set 10293, Santa's Visit. It has a total of 1445 parts, ranging from super small to not so small. When you open up a new set, you always get numbered bags to make the building experience a bit smoother. That was very nice when I built it the first time, but because I take these sets apart after Christmas to store them away for another year, it's not as organized anymore. Right now, I just store them in these bags, and you can imagine it's quite a bit of work to get all the parts you need when starting at step 1 again. I'll usually end up sorting the bigger pieces from the smaller ones before I do anything, but I'm kinda limited in that as well. At home, we like to sit on the couch and watch Christmas movies while we build these sets, and there's only so much room to put extra containers. We also have some pet rabbits running around, and dropping a piece on the floor could be dangerous for them if they decide to eat it. So, we need a solution to all of this that hopefully makes it fun to build our Christmas sets again. Here's what I'm thinking. Whatever we come up with needs to be portable, since we take the sets apart every year and store them in the attic. Because my attic isn't that big and we already have a bunch of stuff in there, it has to be something relatively small and easy to carry around. I wanted to somehow double as a tray we can build on, without all the parts rolling off onto the floor or into the couch. And lastly, we need a way to sort or organize the different parts in the set. If we just dump everything in a box, it's essentially the same thing as the poor solution we already have. I initially thought about just putting everything back in the original box it came in, but it needs to be able to withstand years of wear and tear. Although I love collecting empty LEGO boxes for some reason, these will just fall apart after a while. I do, however, like the idea of implementing the original design of the boxes in some way. They look pretty good and are quite Christmassy, but I'll look at that later. Now, with the features defined, we can actually start designing. I went through a couple of options, but ultimately landed on a box. I know, it's not that exciting. But if you think about it, most things in life are actually some sort of box. Your phone? Box with a screen. Your computer? Box with some hardware connected to a box with a screen. Cabinets for sorting your Lego? Box without a top and a sliding box inside a bigger box. So I got some inspiration out of this. It's a gift box that's used for wine bottles. It's not too big. The sliding top can double as a tray. And on the inside we can add dividers to sort parts in. It's perfect. Well, almost perfect. A while ago I saw this video from Alexander Chappell. He's a Swedish YouTuber who does a lot of woodworking and 3D printing. In this video he makes a bunch of cases that he fills with 3D printed organizers. Each case has its own color 3D printed parts to make identifying the contents of the cases super easy. I also have a 3D printer, but it's about 10 years old and very much ready to be replaced. So that's not really an option for this project, as it would take way too much time to get all the parts together. But after some research I came across this. It's colored MDF. I didn't even know this existed, but I love it. With not just one, but 6 different colors, we can build a box for every single set we have. Even for this unofficial winter village set, the Hogsmeade Village Visit. A lot of people consider this to be part of the winter collection, even though it technically isn't. But that's kind of the same as saying the Sanctum Sanctorum isn't a modular building. So I'll just count it. You'll notice this colored MDF is a little bit thicker than the 3mm MDF I plan on using for the rest of the build. But not to worry, with the Xtool S1 laser cutter you can cut and engrave a whole range of different materials. And the best thing is, they have multiple laser heads available that are suitable for different use cases. This 40-watt laser head I have on mine, for example, is very strong and easily cuts through the thicker MDF. Okay, with the plans laid out, it's time to jump into SolidWorks. I always like to build a 3D model of whatever I'm making, so it's easy to visualize how it's gonna look. Last time I started with a cardboard prototype for the Lego sorter I made. But since this is very straightforward, there's no need to do that for this one. As you can see, it's quite a basic model, but it has everything I wanted it to. With the different colors of the MDF, we can easily identify what set is in what box, but I want to customize them even further. I had the idea to take the artwork of the original box the sets came in and make a version of it that the S1 can engrave. Because with the S1, it's super easy to take a picture and send it to the machine for engraving. But I want it to be a bit more minimalistic. So, after inspecting the boxes a little further, I noticed all of these sets come with a cool little design on them with the set name. The Alpine Lodge, Holiday Main Street, Santa's Visit, and Elf Clubhouse. The only one that doesn't have one of these is Hogsmeade. But that is an easy fix with a little bit of time and some basic Illustrator skills. After fiddling around with that for a while, I had 5 logos ready to engrave. And with that, all that's left is to turn these 3D models and icons into files that the S1 can actually work with. With Xtool's Creative Space software, it's super easy to bring your ideas to life. The over 300 presets included in the software will have the settings ready to go for most of your materials. If you've always wanted to get into laser cutting or engraving, or even start your own business for example, Xtool's got you covered with a range of products for every budget. They even have a screen printing kit available that I might actually want to try for myself. If you follow the link in the description, you can find out more about the different machines they have. And if you use the discount codes on screen right now, you'll get €80 off for orders over €9.99 and €100 off for orders over €22.99. Okay, and now on to the fun part. Let's cut out some boxes. And let's not forget to engrave the designs that we made earlier. These are the materials we need to make 6 different boxes. Usually the new Winter Village sets drop on October 1st, with the 6th box unprepared for the new one coming out in a couple of days after this video goes up. Hey there, Future Renzo here. The plan was to upload this video a week earlier, but something urgent came up, so I was out of the country. In the meantime, LEGO actually uploaded the new set to their website. It's called Santa's Post Office and features a very good looking build with a hot air balloon that brings in the mail and a couple of elves that I assume deliver it from there. I'll probably end up running to the LEGO store again before Christmas, and I'll make sure to post about it on Instagram. I'm not super active there, but if you want you can give me a follow. Now, back to the video. And that means time for assembly. Last time I used a nail gun for this, but with the 3mm MDF I'm using today, that's not a great idea. It's way too thin to shoot the nails exactly where they need to go, so I'll just use a bunch of glue. With all the basic boxes set up, it's time to get the tops done. First of all, we need to add these edges to turn the underside into a tray. I'm just using some super glue for this. It'll be plenty strong, and if I ever want to replace it with a different one, I can easily get it off again. If you're laser cutting wood, you'll end up with burnt edges. There's not that much you can do to prevent that, but if you want to get rid of them, you can give them a light sanding. I personally don't really mind, so I usually just wipe them down with a paper towel to get most of it off. This way, it won't stain your hands if you pick up the box. And to finish it off, we'll need to add some inserts to separate the different parts. And then there's only one last thing to do. Test it, of course. To do that, I'm taking the biggest set, being the Alpine Lodge. I'll first have to sort it before I can start building. There's not really a point in trying to sort it by bag number again, because you'd have to go through all of the instructions for that. That'll take way too much time. I'm just sorting everything by size. Now, this is the part where I would have actually wanted to test the boxes and build the set on the couch. But I ran into a slight issue. I didn't want to make them too big because they need to be stored easily. I definitely didn't. I did, however, make them too small. The only one that actually closes is the elf clubhouse, but it won't be easy going through the parts on the couch when it's this full. Remember what I said about the cardboard prototype?
But since this is very straightforward, there's no need to do that for this one.
Yeah, I guess I should have stuck to what I usually do instead of thinking it would be fine. But hey, these things also happen. I had a lot of fun making them, and I still really like the way they look. The boxes are now 20 by 30 centimeters, and I think I'll make them 30 by 40. That's double the amount of space, so it should fit everything. But to do that, I need to change all of the files I made, and that takes a lot of time. So I'm not doing that in this video. But let me know if you want to see a part 2, and if you have any suggestions to make them even better, leave it in a comment down below. Now, if you're interested in using one of Xtools machines for your own projects, be sure to click the link down below, and don't forget to use these discount codes during checkout. And if you've made it this far, you might be interested in watching my other laser cutting project. I built a Lego sorter that actually sorts by itself.